Morning, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Thursday morning. A little bit of a busy morning. Had a heat burst here in the capital city that led to some pretty gusty winds. Warm conditions and dry conditions as well as a heat burst. Basically, imagine if you have a bubble, a very warm and dry air in a dying thunderstorm, which we had some sort of decaying showers and thunderstorms just to the west. That bubble of warm, dry air basically falls to the ground very quickly, doesn't have a chance to kind of cool down as it falls, and so it hits the ground, gives us some gusty winds, which at the Lincoln Airport, we had winds gusting up to around 50, 55 miles an hour as this was happening just before the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Temperatures, again, increased dramatically, and temperatures here in Lincoln went from about 74 degrees shortly before 8 o'clock up to about 88 degrees right around the 8 o'clock hour, and then also very dry. So dew points also decrease quite dramatically. So you have dew points that go from, in this case this morning, the mid-60s down into the low 50s. So again, all of this happened in just a matter of a few minutes. It was a pretty interesting case. Again, this is kind of a screenshot of the 1011 tempest conditions. Again, you can see it shortly kind of started before 8 p.m., and you can see the top line there is your temperature. It increased dramatically. The red line on the bottom is your dew point. It decreased dramatically. All of this happened, again, in just a few minutes, and again, led to some strong winds as well. And again, in fact, this is a live shot right now here in Lincoln. Our reporter, Anthony D'Agostino, is over near Logan Avenue, where this morning, unfortunately, someone was woken up by a tree branch going through their house into their living room because of those strong gusty winds with that heat burst that we had moved through the capital city. So if you notice this morning, all of a sudden it kind of is a little bit drier outside, a little bit more comfortable in terms of the humidity. If you notice the gusty winds, maybe you lost a trash can or something like that, it was likely due to that heat burst that happened. Here's another image, again, of that tree branch that we see here, again, under that person's house, which, again, is really quite unfortunate. Again, I've dealt with some falling tree branches on property here myself over the last couple of weeks, and it's not fun. And actually, I want to go back to that image. You can see, if I turn off my supers here, just how big that tree branch is there on the bottom left corner. So again, not just necessarily a small branch, it looked like a pretty sizable branch there that fell onto that home. And so again, right now, this is that live shot from our reporter in Lincoln of that tree branch coming down from that heat burst. So and another kind of example here, these are the temperatures from the Lincoln Airport. This is the 24-hour temperature trend. So again, we looked at it on the Tempest data there, our Tempest weather station that we have here at the 1011 studios. But again, you can see it also being reported there at the Lincoln Airport. Low 70s overnight tonight or last night as we kind of had some showers and thunderstorms roll through, but then those temperatures jumped into the mid-80s with that heat burst right around the 8 o'clock hour, and those dew points as well dropped from around 63 to around 53, already ticking back up just a little bit as conditions are kind of moderating a little bit. But again, a little bit of a busy morning with that heat burst moving through. We had some showers and thunderstorms kind of passing through parts of central Nebraska early this morning, so a lot going on, and again, we're going to continue to deal with more chances for thunderstorms into this afternoon and into this evening as well. But before we get to that, I want to start first with the drought monitor. Again, it is Thursday, so that means it's drought monitor day. This is a look at what the drought monitor looked like about a month ago. And again, you can see almost the entirety of the state covered with some sort of drought conditions. A month ago, though, we had been seeing some improvement. Again, areas of extreme drought had decreased and again left with areas of severe drought for parts of the Panhandle and then in the kind of parts of central Nebraska. So that's what it looked like a month ago. And now if you go back to just last week, you can see the change from a month ago to last week. Again, you have a greater percentage of area of the state that are drought free. Again, not quite as expansive with the areas of severe drought, but now this morning the drought monitor that was released showed even more improvement across the area, especially kind of in parts of northeastern Nebraska, where now we have a good chunk of that area that that is drought-free now. Again, still have areas of moderate to severe drought, especially kind of across parts of southern into central Nebraska, and then across parts of the Panhandle, also in kind of north-central Nebraska as well. But seeing some really good improvement in the drought monitor over the course of the last several weeks, and all of that still, despite the fact that, again, here in Lincoln, we're still about 5 inches below normal for our precipitation so far this year. So if you look at the drought stats kind of over the course of the last year, again, you can kind of see, if you go back to probably sometime mid-May, that's probably kind of when drought peaked for us, at least in the last couple months here in Nebraska. But since then, we've been seeing that, again, improving, that trend of improvement with our drought conditions over the last several months, and now have just under 14% of the state that is drought-free, which, again, is good. You go back a year from now, we had almost 80% of the state that was drought-free. So, again, we're still a long ways away from where we were a year ago, but certainly much improved from where we were just a couple months ago. Nationally, you look at the drought monitor, again, you really get east of the Rockies, and things are generally okay for much of the country in terms of the drought. Again, obviously, we have some stuff here across Nebraska, across the Midwest, but most of the drought across the continental United States is really centered across the Rockies and then across the western third of the country. So, but again, you look at the national drought stats over the course of the last year, we're kind of about where we were about this time last year, give or take, kind of a few percentage points here and there. But overall, things aren't doing too bad for us. So again, drought monitor looks good, and we have more chances for rain in the forecast, not only today, but over the coming days for us as well. So hopefully we'll continue to add some more into the bucket. And again, I feel like for the most part, we've had to deal with some severe weather over the last couple of days, but really we have seen a lot of rain without some really intense severe weather, which is really the best of both worlds there. So satellite radar picture, this is a look at the loop over the course of the last 4 hours. You can see some of those showers and thunderstorms across parts of central Nebraska, some of those decaying showers and thunderstorms just to the west of Lincoln. That's what led to that heat burst we had early this morning. If I change this to the last 6 hours, you can kind of see, and actually I'm going to change it to the last 12 hours, and we can kind of see there was a rather strong line of storms that pushed across the state late last night into the overnight hours. That led to a number of severe thunderstorm watches across the state. This activity, as it kind of moved through Lincoln, again, which I feel like does this more times than not, it kind of split right as it moved kind of through the Lincoln area. So if I go back here and I kind of pause the radar here, this is at about 2:30 this morning, and instead of that solid line kind of moving through Lincoln, kind of broke up a little bit. So there was parts of northeastern Lincoln that did see a decent amount of rain that moved through pretty quickly early this morning. So again, some thunder, some lightning, but kind of parts of south central, southwestern parts of town kind of missed out on the rain as that line kind of crumbled a little bit as it moved through the Lincoln area. So if you look at the observed precipitation, again, you can see a pretty good stripe across parts of central Nebraska from where that line moved through overnight last night. But officially at the Lincoln Airport, they got nothing, zeros on the board there at the Lincoln Airport. 6,600ths in York, about a third of an inch in Grand Island, just under an inch at Hastings. I believe the National Weather Service office in Hastings measured about $1.30 for their rainfall with those storms that moved on through. And again, for the most part, we really avoided a ton of severe, again, intense thunderstorms with those as they moved through last night. And again, seeing some beneficial rain for much of central and eastern Nebraska, or a lot of areas for central and eastern Nebraska last night. If you look at the Lincoln rainfall and the Tempest weather stations, again, we're kind of reflecting what we just looked at on the satellite and radar picture there from about 2:30 this morning, as that line of storms kind of broke apart as it moved through Lincoln. So northeast Lincoln, by far and away, again, certainly that's the way it looked on the radar, saw some of the heavier thunderstorm activity, and they picked up some spots around 0.2 of an inch. Not a ton, but certainly more than a lot of the rest of us. Again, here at the 1011 studios, 0.1 of an inch, but there were a lot of spots, especially as you get into southeastern, south central, southwestern, northwestern Nebraska, that only picked up a few hundredths of an inch of rainfall last night as those storms moved through again. The line was moving through pretty quickly, but it certainly doesn't help when that line kind of falls apart as it moves through Lincoln as well. So not a ton of rainfall, but we did have some thunder, did have some lightning, did have some gusty winds. Again, the airport recorded wind gusts up to about 60 to 65 miles an hour last night as those storms moved on through. So checking out the Lincoln Weather Almanac, these are the numbers for the day yesterday. Again, kind of pretty close to where we should be this time of year. 91 and 66 for a high and low. Both of those basically right where we should be. Rainfall for the month, about $1.80. Which again is above average, at least month-to-date rainfall. But again, like I mentioned, year-to-date we're a little more than 5 inches below normal for our precipitation. So again, despite the fact that we're still well below normal for our precip for the year, we have seen those improvements in the drought monitor. Haven't necessarily seen them yet in Lincoln, Lancaster County, southeastern Nebraska, but many parts of the 10-11 coverage area have seen those improvements. So if we check out the weather headlines, again, some lingering showers, thunderstorms possible as we head through the morning. But we are going to be kind of gearing up for the potential for another round of thunderstorms as we head into this afternoon, this evening, overnight tonight. Again, kind of a similar story to what we dealt with last night. And then overall, as we head over the next several days, kind of up and down temperatures. It's going to be on the hotter side, at least today. But as we head Friday into the weekend, temperatures do cool back at least a little bit before we kind of rebound a little bit. But then midweek next week, we are looking at maybe some cooler than normal conditions heading our way. Looks like could see some pretty comfortable conditions, especially for mid-July standards, as we head into midweek next week. So as far as low temperatures this morning, again, pretty typical, mid to upper 60s, right around 70 degrees across the state on the Tempest weather stations. It was generally low 70s this morning, so again, a little bit of a warm start to our Thursday for us. Right now, again, cloudy skies, especially for the eastern half of the state, a little bit more sunshine as you head across parts of northern Nebraska here in Lincoln. Again, we can kind of see cloudy skies, a little bit of maybe light rain, spitting rain in the distance there. Temperatures still very warm after that heat burst, again, but have cooled back a little bit. Again, they got up to about 88 degrees, but cooling back a little bit now. 84 degrees at the studio and at the airport. Winds are breezy and likely will stay a little bit on the breezy side as we head through the day today. Right now gusting up to about 30 miles an hour, and the dew point is comfortable. It's in the upper 50s. Again, it was down to the low 50s not too long ago with that heat burst, but again, we expect those dew points to be a little bit on the muggy side as we head through the day today. So temperatures on the Tempest weather stations, again, you can kind of still see their warmest in the northwestern quadrant of the metro. Again, that was the area that was closest to that heat burst, where it's still in the lower to middle 80s, generally lower 80s, though, as you head across kind of the eastern and southern portions of the Lincoln metro. Temperatures statewide, again, generally in the 70s, save for us here in Lincoln, with temperatures in the middle 80s. Dew point temperatures, again, aren't terrible, but anywhere from the upper 50s to the upper 60s across the state. Winds are blustery out of the south for most, at around 10 to 20 miles an hour, and we are seeing some of those stronger wind gusts, and we'll likely continue to see some breezy conditions as we head through the day today. I think kind of a general broad brush, we could be looking at those winds gusting maybe 25 to 35 miles an hour this afternoon, which is going to kind of help pump up our temperatures just a little bit. It will be a pretty hot afternoon, I think. Hot and could be more humid. It's going to be humid. It's not going to be horribly humid, though, but it is going to be, I think, a pretty uncomfortable afternoon. You look at the wind gusts, again, a few spots there gusting already between 30 and 40 miles an hour in central parts of the state. So satellite radar picture, again, this is the 4-hour loop. Again, still have a little line of thunderstorms there across parts of central Nebraska. If we zoom in here, this is going to be stretching kind of from up near Bartlett, almost down through Columbus, and then kind of into parts of Seward and York County as well. So some scattered showers, isolated rumbles of thunder in there. Again, could see some brief heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. Maybe won't even rule out maybe some small hail mixed in there. But overall, that's what the activity that we have this morning looks like here in Lincoln, Lancaster County. Nothing threatening the metro right now. But again, certainly don't be surprised if this morning we did see maybe a few scattered showers, and won't rule out an isolated rumble of thunder either. If we zoom out and look at a regional view, again, you can kind of see some scattered showers across the region, a few isolated thunderstorms here or there, but generally speaking, fairly quiet. As you zoom out and look at a national view, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning kind of in the Black Hills there in parts of western South Dakota. As far as the weather alerts that we have across the country, not a whole lot happening. Flood watches, parts of North Carolina, Virginia, some, again, heat alerts, fire alerts as you head across parts of Colorado, Utah, Arizona, California, and up into the Pacific Northwest. Here at home, though, again, no weather alerts at least in place right now. But again, likely could be seeing some additional severe thunderstorm watches as we head into later this afternoon. So again, our in-house model here, our graph model, kind of like yesterday, it's not all that bullish on the activity that we could be seeing later today. So we look at the broad brush kind of regional view. I think as we head through the morning, we'll watch for the potential for some of those additional scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms across the area, and then the atmosphere kind of resets. And as we head into this afternoon, we will look at again the potential for another round of showers and thunderstorms that have the potential to be on the strong to severe side. Our in-house model, though, here, this is 10 o'clock tonight. Again, not all that bullish on that activity. Really doesn't have much in the way of anything for thunderstorm activity tonight. But then, unfortunately, we're going to do it all again tomorrow. And our in-house model does have a little bit more activities. We head Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Again, especially for eastern Nebraska, we're going to be looking at the potential for, again, strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. So, again, multiple rounds between last night, potentially tonight, and again, as we head into Friday afternoon, Friday evening. But past Friday evening, as we head into Saturday, we're on the back end of this system. It's going to usher in some cooler conditions, drier conditions. I think Saturday has the potential to be a really, really nice day across the state. We're just going to continue outside chance, 20% that we could see maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. I think the chances are pretty small. I think, again, it's going to be pretty comfortable for Saturday, and overall I think it's going to be potentially a top 10, 11 day for us. If you look at the precip potential over the next couple days, again, kind of two areas. One is kind of the southern panhandle, southwestern Nebraska, where they could see maybe half an inch up to an inch of moisture. Another area is kind of here in the far eastern parts of the state, where we could see in some spots maybe as high as an inch or two of moisture with some thunderstorms as we head over the next several days. Again, could see a round of that tonight, could see another round of that Friday afternoon and into Friday evening. Saturday and into the weekend is generally looking like it's going to be dry for us. If you look at the precip potential over the next several days, again, you can see across the Midwest, especially into eastern Nebraska, parts of eastern Kansas. Again, there is that potential, at least, for a couple inches of rainfall as we head over the course of the next week. The severe weather outlook as we head into the day today, again, does have that marginal and slight risk for severe weather across the entire 10-11 coverage area. Again, here in Lincoln, we're under that slight risk, again, the yellow. So, again, that's a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather threat scale, again, meaning scattered severe thunderstorms are going to be possible. Marginal risk, 1 out of 5, again, as you head across kind of northern and western parts of the 10-11 coverage area. If we try and zoom in here, my computer wants to work with me here. There we go. Zoom in here again. You can see that slight risk covering a good chunk of the 10-11 coverage area. Low-end tornado threat, but it is something we'll watch out for parts of central and eastern Nebraska. Primary threats would likely be damaging wind gusts, again, across a good chunk of the 10-11 coverage area, as well as the threat for some large hail as well. As again, could be seeing another kind of linear system develop as we head late this evening into the overnight hours for those thunderstorms. Tomorrow, again, marginal risk for much of the coverage area, slight risk in the far southeastern corner of the state. Saturday, that severe weather threat kind of shifts off either to our east or to our south. So again, like I said, I think Saturday looks like it has the potential to be a really, really nice day for us. So again, looking at our in-house model, the graph, it's not all that bullish on our thunderstorm chances this evening. It does kind of have some stuff popping off there in parts of northeastern Nebraska and parts of south central Nebraska. If we look at the rapid refresh model, another one of our convective allowing models, it has a little bit more activity. And again, between the two, if we looked at these two yesterday, our in-house model really didn't have much of anything for last night and early this morning. The rapid refresh model did. So again, I think the rapid refresh model is right now likely the more accurate solution. So if you just go forward in time, you look at midday, scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms across the coverage area. 4 o'clock this afternoon, starting to see some of that isolated activity beginning to pop up across the state. You continue to go forward in time, seeing that, again, sort of linear system begin to kind of take shape, kind of starting in northeastern Nebraska up near Norfolk, Wayne. Again, those thunderstorms have the potential to be strong to severe, and then that line kind of pushes to the east and to the southeast by 10 o'clock tonight. Again, could have sort of a messy linear system setting up across parts of western Iowa, eastern Nebraska, into south central Nebraska. And then those storms kind of push across the area as we head late tonight and into the overnight hours. Before then, again, we kind of reset and do things again as we head into the day on Friday. So, long story short, I think we're going to see, again, more showers, more thunderstorms this afternoon, strong to severe, but it's all kind of messy in terms of where things are going to set up, what storm mode that we're going to be looking at. Primary threats, though, likely going to be wind, hail, rain, low-end threat for any tornadoes, I think, for us today, but not zero by any means. Meanwhile, temperature-wise, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. We're going to see highs likely into the mid-90s, I think, today for us here in Lincoln. Low to mid-90s across the southern half of the state. Maybe a touch cooler for the northern parts of the state in the 80s to right around 90 degrees. So 96 in Lincoln today. But you factor in that dew point, feels like temperature is likely going to be into the upper 90s, potentially lower triple digits at times if those dew point numbers can manage to kind of tick their way back up. Low temperatures tonight, staying warm, low 60s to low 70s. High temperatures Friday do cool back, though, back below average, upper 70s to upper 80s across the state, including 85 in Lincoln. Low temperatures Saturday morning, anywhere from the low 50s in the west to the mid to upper 60s in the southeast. Saturday looks really nice. I think dew points are fairly comfortable, and temperatures pretty comfortable in the lower 80s across much of the state. So Saturday is probably the pick day of the weekend. Sunday morning looks nice too, though, with temperatures in the low 60s, but temperatures begin to warm back up Sunday afternoon, highs back into the upper 80s and low 90s. Monday morning, again, it's mid to upper 60s to right around 70, but then even a few degrees warmer on Monday with those temperatures in the low to mid 90s to start the work week. So here's your 7-day forecast for Lincoln. Again, weather alert day today. We think for the potential for more strong to severe thunderstorms this evening. We'll keep an eye on potential for more strong to severe thunderstorms Friday evening. Think maybe the severe threat is just a little bit lower for us, though. But then a little bit cooler Saturday. I think Saturday is probably the best day on here. Still a 20% chance for maybe a shower or thunderstorm. Warm again then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but then by midweek next week, we see those temperatures begin to dip back down again into the lower 80s for us by next Wednesday. And again, you can see chances for rain highest today, tomorrow. Looks mainly dry Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but then those chances for moisture return Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So if you look at that 10-day forecast across the state, again, the thing that really jumps out to me is Wednesday, Thursday of next week is we could enjoy some seasonally cool weather, especially for mid-July, with highs in the 70s to maybe right around 80 degrees. So that's personally what I'm looking forward to. And also then much cooler dew points or lower dew points potentially arriving mid to late week next week into the weekend as well. So again, I think you're basically playing with house money there. If anytime you can, be in mid-July and be looking at dew points that also Saturday are very comfortably in the maybe 50s to right around 60, and then again late next week potentially even lower than that. So kind of off and on humidity to go along with our off and on thunderstorm chances over the course of the next week. And then again, you can see here the 10-day precip chances, or at least looking at probably low-end chances just about every day over the next week to 10 days, which again, it's mid-July. It's kind of where we should be this time of year. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. This takes us July 17th through July 23rd. Again, continues to favor cooler than normal conditions across much of the state. Also favors wetter than normal conditions for areas down to our south. Kind of no clear signals for us, at least here in Nebraska, when it comes to those signals. But again, big story this morning, again, is that heat burst here in Lincoln. Temperatures shot up, dew point shot down, wind gusts picked up. Again, seeing some tree damage in Lincoln. Oh, I just lost the shot there. But seeing some tree damage in Lincoln again. So hopefully everyone else's trees did okay. Hopefully your trash cans are where you left them. But again, it did get pretty gusty this morning when that heat burst sent some 50, 55 mile an hour wind gusts through the capital city. And again, we'll obviously want to keep an eye on additional shower and thunderstorm chances later today. So again, make sure you have a good way to get your weather information. Good way to do that is make sure you keep it tuned to 1011 both on air and online. So appreciate everyone for tuning in, watching. Hope everyone has a nice Thursday, and we'll see you next time.